God. Okay, so in our last Imaginal Consciousness class, we actually are starting with just a discussion. The next few months, our theme, we move in January and then probably through February and March, really focusing on rhythm in different ways. And so in January, we're going to focus on rhythm in looking at hormonal rhythms, looking at the energy of the feminine cycles and how that leads and tends towards more energy at times and then less energy at times. And so in January, we also have a wisdom interview with a wonderful, lovely Canadian naturopath who Michelle knows, Andrea Beaubrun, really looking at kind of female hormonal cycles, which is her specialty. And then using that as well to get into the rhythm of our bodies and using a little bit of music to explore rhythm in that way. And then we'll start looking back at the movement medicine work and re-exploring, for those of you who've done the movement medicine course, and for those of you who have not done it, it will be new information, but really looking to start with it at the earth element, which in my opinion, earth element also relates to diaphragm and solar plexus, which is why in the movement medicine types, I called one of the types earth light, because there's kind of a groundedness, which includes strength, and then a lightness. It's almost like kind of the duality of like the power and then the upward rising movement, and it will all become clear. So I'm not even going to explain it perfectly, but it will be really fun work that will kind of take us through February, and then probably March and April we'll explore again some of the other qualities, the fire quality a little bit and the water quality a bit, and then tigress again. And tigress doesn't necessarily relate to one specific element, but I just think that need that we all have for protection, for safety, a little bit of the fierce feminine is a quality that is as important as an element, because it's something that we all need so much. So
I did my star sequence before bed the other night, and I felt so wrapped in my own strength and protection. So I bowed down to you. Thank you.
Oh, that's lovely. That's so nice to hear. That's really lovely. So in today's class, what I thought we would do is we will do, depending on actually what you would prefer. So I want to do possibly 2 meditations. I want to get the drum out again, do a drummed meditation, and find our way into kind of our imaginal consciousness, using the drum and dropping into stillness in that way. And oh, that's really lovely. I see some, is that sage?
No, it's is it Palo
Santo? Palo Santo?
Palo Santo, is that how you say it? I just got it at Christmas and it smells amazing.
So nice. Oh my gosh, yes, look, okay, here I've got a little bit of sage here. I have some eucalyptus, so this one needs burning, it's getting old. Okay, I'm gonna light a candle as well as we find our way into our almost New Year's class. And we will do our joint circling, and we'll use our imagination to feel in to the places in our body that we often don't think about. As we move, our brain is so smart and so well educated that movement patterns get stored in a part of the brain, in the cerebellum, where we don't even need to think about it, thank goodness. But in that not thinking about our movement patterns, sometimes there's an absenteeing. We get so used to moving in a certain way that it's nice to shine a light on patterns and places that we don't think about in our bodies. And we can't see inside of our bodies. So we need to use our imagination as our bridge in, and our bridge really into healing as well. So, would you like to move first, or would you like to meditate first, my 2 dear friends?
I would like to get a candle, and I would like to move first and then settle into meditation. Okay. Polly, what about you?
Yeah, perfect. Same with me.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to get a candle. Wait.
Yes, I'm waiting. So for those of you who are watching the recording, go get a candle, light a candle. extend the circle of candles and sage. I have some essential oils burning behind me, or steaming behind me, I should say. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so Michelle is lighting her candle. Lovely, little ceremony. Okay, so let's do, we'll do our familiar, beautiful candle, our familiar joint circling to start with. And because it is familiar, we can feel more deeply into it. Rearrange my furniture. All right, lovely, lovely. Okay, so finding your feet, first of all. Finding your feet and finding a comfortable distance between your feet. And feeling the palms of your hands, feeling the soles of your feet. And as you move your wrists in this way that I'm showing you in this turning in, turning out, rotating, let your hips guide you forwards and backwards, feeling your heels, feeling your toes. And slow down the movement so that your skin, your pressure receptors, your joint receptors, the sensory receptors that tell you if the surface is cold or warm, and send all that information into the part of you that then becomes aware of sensation in a nanosecond. Feel the surface that your feet are moving across, and feel the space that your hips are moving backwards and forwards, or perhaps a little side to side through. And feel the space that your hands are moving through, so that you become really aware of the space and the container and the air that you stand within. Keep moving in this way so that you keep a sense of yourself. Your felt sense is still active. You haven't left your body. But with your perception, stretch your awareness out to the edges of the room that you're in. Notice the edges of the room, the places where the room opens through windows and doors to the outside world. And feel this room to be sacred space. Feel how simply by bringing that intention, you can create that. You can bless the space that you're in simply with your intention. And then having woven sacredness into the space around you, let that same intention for sacredness start to infuse your wrist joints, your feet, your hips. Take a deep breath, sighing as you exhale, grateful for this sacred body, acknowledging your body as sacred. Letting your body become illuminated and enriched by this attention that you place on your body as a sacred vessel for your beautiful spirit. That your spirit is your body is your spirit. And every cell becomes infused and filled with the pureness of the feeling of sacredness. And then I want you to reach up towards the stars, gathering the energy of the stars above and just bringing that starlight down through you. Letting your hands move slowly down through the space around you. Bringing the starlight down through your fingertips and palms. Seeing the starlight activate your body as though you are a cosmic grid. And once again, let's do that exact same movement, reaching slowly up, drawing the energy of the moon and the night sky, far beyond our world, darkness, bringing that through us. Let's do that one more time. So we reach into this great unknown, this infinite expansiveness. I'm just bringing a little of that through us. Once again, reaching up to the stars, the moon, the galaxies beyond us, the unknown, and bringing a little bit of that down. And 3. And then using your imaginal mind to connect with the earth, reaching down to the hands, and scooping up, bend your body as far down. If you want to go to a full forward bend, you can, or just reach with your arms and gather earth energy and bring that up through you. Slowly, slowly, slowly up through you. Filling your body as though you're taking a beautiful, big sip of the water that moves through the earth, and then reaching down to gather the earth energy in the underground springs and the crystal clear water that circulates under the earth and above the earth, bringing that up and through you at the pace that feels right. And as I often say, we go slow in these energy movements so that we really, really wake up our beings, our bodies, our felt sense to the energy that flows within and around us, that is different from the rhythm of our breath, that is different from the rhythm of our heartbeat. There are so many other rhythms that we can tap into and use to heal and nurture and connect with energy and fill ourselves with energy and balance our energy. So let's reach into the earth once again. The deep darkness of the earth, fertile, fertile earth, the roots, drawing that up through us. And then 2 more times, really let your imagination dive into the earth beneath you, drawing up whatever it is that your imagination brings to consciousness or brings to felt sense. And now, let your hands move around you. So this is our water element, as though you are standing in a lake or the ocean, or river, and your feet are in connection with the silty, sandy, muddy, pebbly bottom of your body of water. And your fingertips are brushing the cool water. Feeling the temperature of the water that you stand in. Imagining what might be there with you, what fish, what plants. And let your hips move. And let the water, imagine the buoyancy that the water might have to it, and that buoyancy which might give some freedom to our hip joints, to our sacroiliac joints. Bring that buoyancy in to your pelvis to bring relief to any parts of your hips, your low back, your legs that are achy, and move the other way. Shift your awareness slightly, actually quite a lot, so that you imagine you're standing within a cauldron, and it's a vast cauldron. You're standing or in a body of water that is healing. So in my own mind, I have a cauldron around me that is filled with herbs, like a great bath, filled with healing herbs and salts and petals, infused with aromas that the water can carry, that my body can receive, to bring more fluidity, flexibility, more ease. A couple more times. And then let's balance the movements of up and down, and balance the left and the right. So we're simply going to do this movement, which we've done a few times. One hand moves up, one hand moves down. And you can have the hips still, or you can continue to move them side to side, whatever feels good. And then let's take this into a little bit of a walk. So one hand comes up, you lift. You can walk on the spot or you can walk around the room. Just turning this into a walking meditation. So that the whole body is involved. And as your hands move up and down, notice if there are any places in the body, particularly the diaphragm level, which just need maybe extra attention. So with every movement, we are bringing more freedom, more balanced energy. Coming into our bodies by using our felt sense instead of our thinking sense. Just continuing to take small steps. And I am simply staying in one spot so that you can see my pattern of movement. You might imagine that you are a wise sage, taking your walking meditation across the meadows or the mountains. In the golden hour of sunset. As you do this movement, again, let your mind go to the edges of the room that you are in. Feel the spaciousness of your environment, the safety, the sacredness. And then let your mind go wider than the edges of your room. Let it go beyond out into the outdoors, into nature. And then bring your mind back to your body and be in your felt sense again, just for a few more steps. And then bring your hands to the center of your torso. And I want you to do this movement. You may remember we did this in movement medicine. It's monkey movement. It's so the hands move diagonally away from each other, and then they start to come back towards each other as though holding a light here in the center of the solar plexus. And then move away, and the monkey aspect is as though we're parting tree branches or leaves and peeking through, and then coming down, sinking a little bit. Opening and a sinking. Lifting, a slight twist, and falling. So inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Palms looking towards each other as they come back to the center. And then turning. And this can very easily become a walk as well. So the leg rises, step, and we sink down as we step. The leg rises as we move the hands apart. Step, hands come together. Lift the leg, hands go apart. Step, hands come together. Let's do 2 more steps. And then I want you to just take steps backwards, very slowly. We'll do just a few. Feeling how that is for you. And then take steps to one side, one direction. And then step in the other direction. It becomes, in a small way, a good way, brain food, brain gym. And then pausing in the movement. And because we've been working with a lot of with subtle energy, it's good just to pause before we get into a different pace of movement. And there's many standing postures we can hold because we've just been doing the earth, diaphragm, monkey movement. Let's just hold as though we're holding a beam, like a searchlight coming out from the solar plexus. Just holding that, placing the hands around this imaginary light. Just noticing, being conscious that the moment we use our imagination to give ourselves a theme or a story, it helps us to tap into a felt sense that can be healing, expansive, peaceful. So just for a moment, asking yourself, what is the quality that this part of your body is yearning for more of? What is the feeling it is longing for? Just see what comes and see if there's any visual cues or earth images, nature images that come as a way of helping you connect more deeply into breathing space and light. And perhaps it is not just how this area needs to feel, but how the rest of your body in relationship to this area needs to feel. So perhaps, for example, like the rest of your body could become like a tree, rooted, grounded, in order for this area, the solar plexus, to be free to feel light, luminous, airy, relaxed. And then just letting that go. And let's come into some joint circling. And I want you to be really simple in your awareness now, that as though you are lubricating your joints, as though you are going to the movement mechanic who is oiling your wrist joints. And you take your awareness into your wrist joints and you feel, okay, which wrist joint is creaky? Where does the oil need to go? Where does the lubrication need to go? You are in your wrist joints. And then you will interlace your fingers and you will push your hands away from you. And you will be in the palms of your hands in the space where your hands meet the beginning of your fingers and stretching that out. And then stretching your wrists one by one, feeling the tension in your forearms. Just imagining that lubricating energy flows through your hands, into your fingers, into your wrists, around the bones, in the sheets and slips, fascia, around the nerves, around the blood vessels, the muscles. Everything becomes oiled. Reach your arms up, pressing up through the palms, but then starting to stretch the sides of the body as well. As you push one wrist up higher, the ribs push out to that side, and then the other side, stretching up higher on one side, bending your knees a little bit so you can push your ribs out to the side and open, side to side. So one hip is going to pop in the opposite direction of the ribs. The hip pushes one way and the ribs push the other way. Ribs and hips, wrists, release. Bring your head, your ear to your shoulder. And then drop your chin to your chest. And slowly let your ear find your other shoulder. And then again, drop your chin to your chest. And as you drop your chin to your chest, round your spine just a little bit to open up the upper thoracics. And then find your ear, your shoulder. Other way. Again. And then, just with your nose looking up, like a rainbow, tracing side to side, up, and lengthening, lifting, dropping your shoulders down to the other side. Good. And then swing your arms back and forth in front of you, palms face up, as though you're throwing a tennis ball up above you, serving. And we open the chest. Let your awareness be on your shoulders. Close your eyes and feel your shoulders. Your elbows and wrists are free. Your fingers are relaxed. Then bring your awareness to the way that your body is twisting side to side. And this movement of your ribs rotating. Just notice which way feels a little freer, which way feels more stiff. And then bring your arms like so. Twisting, twisting. Shifting your weight side to side. Letting your hands lightly slap as they wrap around your back. Elbows and wrists are relaxed, your shoulders are relaxed, your arms are moving freely, swinging. And then, let's bring the hands onto the hips, do some big circles. Sticking your hips out behind you. Letting your chest go as far back and as far forwards as you want. And go the other direction. Have a bit of a bend in your knees. Last one. Pause, find your balance. Take a breath in. Breath out. And feel how much more aware of your body you are now. How you can find your awareness through your body. And then bring your awareness into your left leg and place your weight on it. Bring your right leg up and circle your knee out to the side. And let your foot brush the floor as you come through the circle. And then I want you to shake your ankle. And place your foot down. Bring your awareness and your balance to the outside of your body. And when you're ready, when you have your balance, your leg out. Big circles. Bringing your leg up and then shaking your ankle. Placing your leg down. We're going to do one more movement and then we're going to meditate and we'll do a little bit of movement again. So this other movement is leg swinging. So we're going to bring the leg up and back. So ideally, having a wall is great because your leg is going to go up and back just like this. And you may or may not have enough space, but hopefully you can find somewhere. This is such a nice movement for the hip joint and just getting in some really nice extension. So we'll just do this a few times on each side. So then turning around. I don't want to kick my little tail behind me. Let's see. I'm going to do an imaginary wall. So if you don't have a wall to lean against, using the arms in the opposite, almost like walking pattern, is a nice way of doing it. Good. Okay. Let's just have a quick check-in. And let's, just a quick check-in. Let me know how you're doing. And those of you who are watching this recording can get yourselves a glass of water and have a little mini break. Michelle, how was that for you?
That was phenomenal, Lucy. Something came together, everything came together for me today, and your movement today just was deeply inspiring, really touched me. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. I honestly, I really felt an opening head to toe, in, out, my cells, and my mind was just free. It was a liberating experience this morning. Thank you. Oh, oh my gosh.
Wow, that's so wonderful. Good. Polly, how about you, my friend?
That was lovely, thank you. I may have slightly frozen myself. So I was just so cold. Towards the end, I think I was then becoming distracted, whereas at the beginning I was completely in the zone. Maybe I just need a bit more heating in my house. Sorry.
Yeah, what's going on? Go put your heating on, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, it's right. Well, today's the first day with a bit of snow around, so it's utterly freezing.
Yes. Turn the heating on, for God's sakes.
Were you focusing on the hips, or am I focusing on the hips myself? Because my hips are so clicky and tight, which I know, the theory behind that is the emotional blockage, isn't it? Or like carrying around baggage, but they're getting worse. They do that poppy thing. So even as we were like swinging the leg there, they just go that little pop, pop, pop in the front hip flexor. Yeah. Very tight. Which A is probably a physical thing, but B, if it is a sort of more of a spiritual or emotional thing, probably just Christmas. I think Christmas is a funny old time, isn't it? I've had a great Christmas, but I wonder if there's a lot of emotional going on. But, it was wonderful. Thank you.
I did focus in on the hips because my hips have been feeling really tight recently, really, really tight. And so as we got into the water element, I was kind of captured by that feeling like, when I am in the ocean, like I love surfing mostly because it just puts me in the ocean. And that feeling of like the buoyancy of water, well, can we bring that? Can we cultivate that even when we're not in the water? And can that give us a little bit of medicine? So yes, is the answer. Yeah, to your question.
Obviously, you were tuning in with you then too, because my hips were bad. Not bad.
Yeah, I'm tempted for us to do just one round or one side each of the tigress meditation. I'm sorry, not meditation, the tigress sequence, the protection sequence, and then just settle into stillness. How does that sound? Do we have the energy? Okay, wonderful. Polly, do you want to go put your heating on? English people are terrible for having cold houses. And you are just confirming the terribleness of like cold houses and winter in England. It's awful. Canadians know how to heat their houses. English people, you suffer in the cold. So good. Let's stand up again. We'll just do a little our protection sequence, and I will put the protection sequence into our movement medicine online forum, so that for those of you who may not have done this sequence before, you can have a really clean, perfectly filmed, perfectly narrated version of this. But in this one, I'm going to add something a little bit different that I was practicing yesterday. We'll see if I can remember what I created. All right, so we are going to just bring our arms up, and we're going to bring them down into what we're using as our kind of no. This is like, there's the inner boundary, my heart to my, to the space around me, and then a no, a pressing out, a sense of boundary. So let's do that a couple of times. Moving down with our hands, quite firmly anchoring through the shoulders. So there's a muscular component in the shoulders, and then arms going up, and then a no, pressing away. Do it one more time, arms up, pressing away. Let's do the opposite, where it is more of a protective posture, where we reach the arms up, the fists come, hands come in fists, and the hands kind of look towards us as we cross at the forearms. Again, reaching up, cultivating the power internally. Just feeling as you pull that down into you. Are you pulling it down from the stars? Are you simply pulling it down from your inner strength, and then go back to the no, and now we have these movement patterns. Feel them. Feel what you need right now. Feel the space that you need to cultivate for yourself, the resources that you need to cultivate. Maybe it's saying, enough, more time for me. And then just as a very quick reminder, go into your infinity symbol. So we have this movement, which I like just to create these movement patterns around. So we have an infinity symbol. On one side, we have the richness of connection. On the other, we have the richness of our time alone. And we have the weaving between. And so often we become imbalanced, where we have too much aloneness, or too much time where others are in our space. And I want you just to imagine that you are balancing out what you need right now, whether it is more time on your own or more time in connection, just being aware that it is your birthright to have time to yourself and time in connection. Time to yourself, time in connection. So trusting that you can ask for what you need, finding your voice, and then coming back into our movement and simply finding this pressing out, building vitality and strength. And then the opposite movement where we have the hands, the fists facing in. One more time. Hands facing out, making your boundary, making your space. The wise woman within you knows what she needs, knows what you need. And then this next one, let your hands come in whatever position you need, and just balance on one leg as we bring the other foot up. And then we're going to go into our high warrioress. The back heel is lifted, the front knee at 90 degrees, and just find your hands into one or both positions. Trust the wise woman within you now. Let yourself become enriched and informed by her, so that the confused parts of your mind and your wounds really are irrelevant, because the wise woman can hold you. The wise woman is you, but she is that part of you that is unhurt, who knows what she needs. And then let your hands move up, and just holding your arms open, feeling the openness, the open-heartedness, the space around you. And then bring your hands firmly down, anchoring through your shoulders. And then bring your arms in front of you. And I want you to turn. So I have my left leg forward, so I'm going to use my left hand. I'm going to turn my left palm away. And I want you to feel that this left side of the body, or if your right leg is forward, it's going to be your right side. This left side of the body for me is strong and stable, protected. It can hold me in place. And then this other side is just going to open. I'm going to open without moving through here. Just turning my chest and then bringing my hand forward. Just trying something different. Opening, as though one half of the body can be open and flexible, and the other half can be supportive and strong. One more time. And then turn the palm, just hands looking towards each other. Arm up one more time. Open-chested, open-hearted. And then we're going to come down into hands on the floor. And we're going to straight away find, I need to turn my computer a little bit, we're going to find that animal-like kind of prowl as we go side to side. So if I'm here, I'm going to bring the hand on the inside, turn the feet to each other. And then my tigress comes in and her shoulders move like a tigress who is prowling quietly. Foot, hands, foot. Let your shoulders and your hands be in full contact as you go side to side with this really deep, wonderful hip opening. Let your hands and your shoulders be expressive. Be in connection with the earth. Couple more times. And then turning, facing forwards. Let's go to downward dog from here. Pedal your feet. And then step your other foot forward. So from here, I'm going to bring my right leg forwards, coming up. Bring your arms up into this really open-hearted, receiving, giving gesture. And then reach your arms up and anchor down. Find your strength, your power, all of the you-ness of who you are. Your essence rises within and fills you. And then arms dropping down, arms go up, and then hands pushing away. And there's a fierceness and a power that comes through you. And then stepping forward into a forward bend. And let yourself reach around the back of your ankles, holding your lower calves or Achilles tendons, pulling up through there. and actually massaging a little bit through the Achilles tendons, either side of those strong tendons. And then from here, press against your knees, hands to your hips, and rising up. And then we're going to go through the other side, and then we're going to meditate. So coming up, bringing arms up. Hands can go either way. It doesn't matter which gesture. I want you now just to feel if there's one that you need more, or cycling between and feeling. Cultivate your inner strength. Let it rise through you. Let it fill you. And then you're going to bring the other leg up, left knee up, bounce for a moment, and then coming back. I like to kind of go into almost a little ball, and I go back and I reach my foot back behind me, then I'm going to open my arms. And there's a wideness and an open-heartedness, as though now I know how to be strong within myself, I also could be more giving. And then reaching all the way up and bringing my hands down, whatever way you want. Again, opening, and then reaching up, bringing your hands down, and then forwards. Palms let's have them facing away from each other. And then the side of you with the leg that's forwards, that palm stays facing away, that side stays strong and still, and the other side we open softly. And then we bring the hand forwards. So half the body opens with softness, the other half holds with stability. And perhaps with your arm, you'll notice I'm kind of going like this. This movement feels quite lyrical. And try this. And then bringing your hand back and releasing. Open the arm up one more time. Up again. Bringing the hands down to the ground into our deep hip movements where we're on the ground, the hands moving, and I'll just adjust the camera. We're going into that deep hip movement. So the feet face, the toes face forwards now. And we're just going to bring palm by palm, really spreading the fingers. That foot turns open and then turns back. My knees are bent. And I become the tigress. Walking through the jungle. Fearless. Strong. Connected. Knowing every sound, every plant, but not being afraid. And then from here, let's go into our downward dog. Bending the knees one by one. And then let's bring the left foot forwards. And up. Bringing the arms down. Just for a moment, holding here. Dropping your hands down. Step into your forward bend. Holding behind your legs. Bringing your hands to your hips. up. And then if there's any small movements that you still need to do, you can do a couple of extra little movements if there's anything. And or you can find your way to sitting, and I'm just going to gather up my drum. My beautiful drum from Guatemala. Okay. So comfortable, 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 wearing your woolly hats and your mittens and your blankets and all the wonderful winter things that are needed for warmth. Getting really comfortable. We'll chat for a moment afterwards. For the time being, just enjoy peace and quiet of settling into your own space. And as we go into this meditation, I'm going to start with this beautiful poem by Mary Oliver, which is one that likely you'll have heard before. And it's called At Blackwater Pond. So as I speak it, just imagine yourself into this poem. So rich. At Blackwater Pond, the tossed waters have settled after a night of rain. I dip my cupped hands, I drink a long time. It tastes like stone, leaves, fire. It falls cold into my body, waking the bones. I hear them deep inside me whispering, oh, what is that beautiful thing that just happened? Let me read that to you one more time. At Blackwater Pond, the tossed waters have settled after a night of rain. I dip my cupped hands. I drink a long time. It tastes like stone, leaves, fire. It falls cold into my body, waking the bones. I hear them deep inside me, whispering, oh, what is that beautiful thing that just happened? So, the instructions are very simple. To let your mind be free. As I drum, let your mind be free as a bird, or let it slowly become free as a bird if it's feeling entangled and snared. And just to see if a wisdom arises from a consciousness that is greater than your thinking conscious, that can inform you of what you need right now. And if you know exactly what it is that you need right now, you can frame that slightly differently. Maybe it's what you need this next month. Maybe it's what you need to bring into your life in January. So however you want to frame it, something to do with what you need right now, physically, emotionally, or mentally. Let yourself be informed by a great wisdom. Let your mind open to a great wisdom. So I'm going to drum. And I will talk a little bit as I'm drumming, but I'll try not to talk too much. Your body relax. Long sigh, letting go of any remaining tension. Your heart soften, your heart open. Let wisdom rise in you. Be open to receiving wisdom from around. Wisdom from the earth. Your ancestors. Your own good knowing. The sacredness of winter in your space. Just let it come to you. What is it that you need? What does your body need? What does your mind need? And for the next 5 minutes, just let your mind be open to receiving, let your body be open to receiving any gifts, any wisdom, gifts for the new year. Let your breath become even more expansive. Take this last minute just to fill yourself with gratitude. Gratitude for community, wise connection, your wisdom. And breathing slowly. And if you want to write for a second, just to record your thoughts, anything that came to you. And how it might inform if you are the kind of person who makes a New Year's resolution or takes the time to think about your hopes and dreams for this next year. Is there anything in what came to you that can help support your hopes and dreams for the next coming year? And then when you're ready, let's have a couple of minutes just completing the class with sharing what came. And just as you're gathering yourselves to share, what came for me was some diaphragm release, a physical sense of release through that part of my body. And then as I was drumming, the deep desire to how lovely it would be, perhaps at the end, towards the end of this year, who knows, let's see, but to hold a retreat where we can gather in person and do this beautiful work. Okay, so when you guys are ready, you can unmute and share anything you want to share. All right, Polly, you're up first. So says Michelle.
Love the drums, Lucy. If you've done them before, I may have missed.
So last class, it was the first time that I used the drum, and I love it too. So more to come.
I might have slightly dodgy audio because it wasn't a constant sound. It kind of went in and out a little bit, but it was just it's amazing sound. Weirdly, I don't know why I kept falling asleep.
Great. It was nighttime, right? It's like
it's only 5:20 here. But no, I think sometimes when I meditate, that can happen. I can literally do the sort of nodding dog. So 1 minute I'm just in the moment and thinking, wow, this is incredible. And then weirdly, I just drop off quite instantly. Which I don't know, maybe that's a powerful thing, or maybe I'm hibernating.
It's just so, Polly. Maybe it's just so.
And then I think, so I've got a few New Year resolutions, but weirdly in my head, maybe because you said you'd been surfing, Lucy, and I was picturing you on the beach. I did see one pic on Instagram, but I can always visualize your setting. And I kept thinking I really would love to do a retreat. So, the other stuff is more normal, like be a better cook, don't ruin You know what I mean? Like, do better yoga and la la la. But no, in my visual mind was a retreat, which would be amazing, especially after a year of no one going anywhere.
It's interesting because people can get into Nicaragua now, and it's very free here. It's like each person gets to do what they want, so I can gather with as many people as I want. There's no restrictions, so I could do a retreat here, but it's just traveling is so intense. And I'm very aware of that, of the intensity of travel, and so that's a little bit of a restriction that's not here, but in the process of getting here. Yeah, and I think one of the things I notice when I'm giving osteopathic treatments is that sometimes the body just actually needs to go into a state that's sort of like a light sleep for the nervous system just to calm. And I notice for myself, I will often do, I think I really messed up I don't know if my adrenals will ever recover, or even if that's the right anatomical way of describing things. There might be a completely different reason, but I need to do quite a lot of meditation naps where I put on 20 minutes of drumming, 3, 4, 5 times a week. And I will slip into okay, there we go. I kind of rested and I just am renewed. So there's that as well.
Well, I do. Sometimes that happens when I have Reiki as well. And I don't mean I'm so enjoying being more conscious, but actually, maybe that's exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
So, but it was awesome. Thank you. Amazing drums.
Great. Okay, cool. Michelle?
There is, I want to continue that thread. Both of you, you're on either side of me. That settling of the nervous system, and Lucy, it was your work on the table. That's what would calm my nervous system after the neurosurgery and the infections, and it was amazing how, and my body would know when I was going in for treatment, whether it was you and then you referred me to Heidi and on and on. And my body would just know, and I could hear and feel my nervous system calming just as I was going into that space. And I think your session today here was a lot like that. Everything's clicked for my mind and my body, and I really settled into and had that felt sense awareness and really came into settling on the table virtually, and so much inspiration. I want to do this, and with my course I want to do this, and with my moms and daughters I want to do this, and just there was so much flow. It was amazing. It was amazing and beautiful. And resolutions, I'm so in the flow right now. It's just what's coming, what's creating. So I would like to be a better cook too. I've slacked off a little bit for the last couple of years. So I'm actually hosting a +1 dinner on Wednesday with my sister Goddess. And so I'm going to pull out a rack of lamb and get my,
yummy.
Yes, get my culinary skills polished off before the end of this year. No, it was wonderful. And the thought of being on retreat, I just love the women who come to our virtual circle.
Yeah.
Polly, you crack me up. You do. I just love listening to you talk. Oh my gosh. And the other women who come to the circle here, it's been so uplifting, so nourishing for me. So I thank you, Lucy. This is just
Great. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you.
My pleasure, my absolute pleasure. So we'll see each other in 10 days time, approximately.
Okay.
And then again at the end of the month, and in between retreat. And I hope you all have a lovely next few days.
Thank you.
This wintry New Year's time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is that a special bracelet, Lucy?
This one is from the Philippines. I bought it on when I was on a boat going like across to amazing like ocean reserve where there were turtles and this guy, like there were just all these people. There was also this sandbar. They had a restaurant kind of on a sandbar, which wasn't really a restaurant. It was like all these like local fishermen who had at low tide, like the legs of the table, you could have them in the sandbar in the middle of the ocean. So you have to take a boat to get there. And then people would just like, fishermen were just there like cooking and barbecuing. And then there were all these sales people who were there. And so this is coral, which is probably not what I probably shouldn't be wearing the ocean on my wrist, but I am. It's beautiful. I love it. That's what it is. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for today.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mwah. Love to both of you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.